You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
My name is Kelly Bolton, and thank you for tuning in. Over the last 25 years, this program has been designed to highlight the economic community growth of our region. Today, I'm honored to welcome with us Dr. Joann Massey. She's CEO of the Economic Development Growth Engine for Memphis and Shelby County. It was created in 2011. This remarkable organization drives growth by connecting people and resources in meaningful and impactful ways. So please join us in welcoming Dr. Massey to our program as we learn about the exciting development shaping our community. Without further ado, let's talk business. So thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Massey. I'm glad we had a chance to visit before the show started, and you're familiar with the school and the area. Tell me a little bit more about you and your role and what exactly is EDGE that we're talking about.
Sure. Well, Kelly, I love to say, that I was born, raised, and educated right here in Memphis, one of the best cities in the entire country to me. And thank you all so much for having me. You're right, I'm a Germantown supporter, but a supporter of our young people here. As a young person myself here in this city, I decided many years ago that there was opportunity in Memphis for me here, and so I decided to stay. As president and CEO of EDGE, which is an acronym, Economic Development Growth Engine, my role is to be an economic development advisor for the City of Memphis mayor, as well as the Shelby County mayor and those elected officials. As most people know, we have a city council and we have a county commission. And so my job, along with my team, is to advise them on economic development strategies and activities, but then also, and very much more technical, our organization is responsible for helping to implement those strategies to be able to manage the resources and assets of our public entities that we have in our community, our land, job opportunities and those things, and then help create family sustainable jobs and infrastructure investment for our community.
That's quite a mouthful. So you must be very busy, very busy.
Yes.
So it's not really part of, it's aligned with the city, but it's not run by the city.
That's right. We're a quasi-governmental agency. So as I mentioned, both the city mayor and the county mayor appointed me to my position. So they came together and said, we want this person, and then the city council, county commission agreed. But before all of that, we have a 9-member board that is a board of volunteers. They're not paid for it, but they're professionals who are passionate about the community like you and I, who invest their time and their talents in helping us move Memphis forward. And so our board selected me for the role. And like you said, we're not necessarily tied or ran by the city or the county, but as a quasi-governmental agency, we're trusted with the public's interests. So I like to call myself a public servant, even though I'm not an elected politician, for sure.
Well, that's wonderful. So then there becomes things like funding. So how do you get your funding, and how much funding do you have on, say, an annual basis?
Sure. Well, I'm so glad you asked that question, because that is always the question of the hour, right? To people, where does your money come from? How's your agency funded? Well, our agency is funded by the large corporations. We're right here near International Paper, as an example, FedEx, and others who have what we call the payment in lieu of taxes, the tax abatement incentives. They have to pay a fee. They have to pay an initial fee and an annual fee. And that's how we fund our staff. But more importantly, that's how we fund the programs. We use those funds to reinvest in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our small businesses. That's where those funds come from. So it does not come from the taxpayers.
It comes from the businesses.
The businesses.
So if I understand this correctly, a business XYZ, like you said, International Paper, FedEx, things like that, a portion of what is collected from them is then redirected to fund this?
Yes, that's exactly right.
And do they have a choice in the amount?
No,
Can they do more? Can they do less?
We have set fees, and our fees are pretty nominal. We're talking about in the few thousands. But very
small
relative to the large, multi-million, billion-dollar companies that we engage with. But those set fees then offset our costs for, like I said, staffing. We're a small staff. We're less than 10 at Edge.
Yeah.
It looks
and you do
big.
A lot with less than 10.
We do a lot, but again, we have committed professionals who wake up every day, thinking about how to move Memphis forward. So we're not top heavy at all, or heavy on staffing. But we then have, over the years, been very fiscally responsible with the funds that we take in and reinvesting those in the community. So, high school revitalization, the North Side High School in North Memphis, we were played a major role in helping to revitalize that structure. Small businesses, up and down the corridors, we touch those businesses. And even again, right near here, the Poplar Ridgeway corridor, we provided a tax increment financing tool that helped to make it as beautiful as it is today.
Really? Very interesting. Well, my office is actually right across from that, and I got to watch all the development, and it is so beautiful.
Well,
and I just wondered,
and
it's funny because I wonder who's doing this, but it's really gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, before we take a break, let me ask you, how much did you get in funding last year? How much did you collect?
So our average collection is about $2 million a year.
Okay.
So it's not that we spend that much, but that's about how much we collect. So if you think about Edge being since inception in 2011, we did have an initial investment from the city and county of $15 million.
Okay.
But that $15 million initial investment compounded with the fees for our different programs and incentives over the years has put us in a really good position where we are fiduciarily sound. And that's important, especially when you're looking at government.
Well, I love that. And this is going to be a good time to take a break because I'm really excited to know you were responsible for the beautification right outside of my office window. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
We're going to pause for a short commercial break. So please stick around.
I believe the orchestra program is an important part of education because it gives students a way to process and express emotions that they don't get in other classes.
Good, let's do that one more time.
Before I went into the orchestra program, I didn't really see the value of music until I really got into the community of people who were so into the idea of music. And so I feel like once I got around those individuals, they really helped me find myself and realize that music is what makes me happy.
When I first went into orchestra, I was a very shy and very quiet and closed-off person. But now I see myself as a bit more confident and a bit more open to not only other people, but to new opportunities.
I believe that the atmosphere is very friendly, but also open-minded. We all are open to hear others' ideas and just come together as one to figure out what we need to do to get to our one goal.
One and ready, go! Here we go. Nice. The students learn teamwork. They learn how to work together, not just for a win, like in a sports activity, but their main goal is aesthetics and beauty.
I love that in orchestra you get to use music with your peers to create a story, and you get to give that to the world, basically.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Business. If you're just tuning in, I'm Kelly Bolton, and today we've had the distinct pleasure of talking with Dr. Joann Massey. She's CEO of the Economic Development Growth Engine for Memphis and Shelby County. To learn more about what drives growth in our city, we're going to continue this exciting discussion. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm just really thrilled to know where a lot of the action is happening. So let's just take a project like from beginning to end. So you identify a need, and how do you monitor, pay, implement, and then once it's executed, do you have any kind of follow-up? And you can explain that. I would love to know that.
Sure. Well, the great thing about all of this, Kelly, is that EDGE being a quasi-governmental entity, I like to say we move at the speed of business. Right. So even though we are quasi-governmental and there is, red tape in some ways that we have to work through, that's what EDGE was created for. So when companies, developers, entrepreneurs, or just those with an idea come to us, they bring to the table what the idea is or what they're trying to accomplish, and then we work towards the yes. And we are able to do that again outside of, like the government bureaucracy. But what has to happen is we are also an industrial development board. So there are things that we don't do. And one of those things that we don't do is we do not do housing, okay? So we don't do housing, we don't do residential, we don't do those things like hospitals and schools. We don't help build those things. But what we do is industrial development, business development, and neighborhood revitalization.
And the schools, now, you mentioned that you had done the high school the one high school renovation,
but
the revitalization.
But that was what it was, a school, and then it was blighted for 18 years.
Right.
And so it was no longer a school, but it was a revitalized building.
Right, not to be confused with revitalizing something with a school.
Exactly.
Very interesting. So tell me, since you've been doing this, what is probably the most exciting project? And it may have, excitement can mean different things to different people. So what is the most maybe fulfilling project that you have done?
Well, I'll add, economic development was not my chosen career. So when we talk about, our young people here at Germantown High School, what you choose on the front end may not be what you end up in. Right. But it all tied together because I wanted to be a lawyer. And so my background is law and compliance, and that's what I wanted to be. Ended up getting into finance and then found my way into economic development. So my passions around compliance and auditing and law and development all married together. So when you talk about a project like Northside, when you talk about the renovations that have occurred near the University of Memphis, up and down Highland.
Which is amazing.
I mean, it's amazing, right? And even when I say we don't do housing, we do invest and participate in multi-use development. So multi-use development can have some housing on it and then retail. We participate in all of those kinds of deals. So definitely in the University of Memphis, go Tigers.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Poplar Ridgeway, I too get to enjoy it. I'm always driving through here and the restaurants that we have, the North Side. And then what's really to my heart, Kelly, is our small businesses. So we have small businesses downtown like Hard Times Deli, Whitehaven, Trap Fusion, and Exactly, play on the words, Exactly, and many, many others that we have been able to be a part of, because we have a mantra that says powering progress through partnerships. We don't do anything alone. And that's been the real power and benefit of having an organization like EDGE here in Memphis.
Well, that's exciting. And, I think we forget how important it is to support small business. It's so easy to, if I need to order a new water filter, I'll just get on the computer and it shows up. But we forget some of these small businesses, or a gift. A gift is probably a better example. If I want to buy a gift, instead of at 10 o'clock at night shopping online, stop in that small business and help support them. And I know they, during the years of COVID, it was a struggle for the small business. And it was sad to see so many have to close their doors, and it was amazing to see some that became so innovative and began to sell meat and fruits and vegetables, or meals to go, and you would drive up under a tent and get your food. I mean, how times have changed, but that's fascinating. And I love how you explained how your career has morphed to where it is today, and I think it's really important. As you said, the students film the show, and the people that are listening, our audience, sometimes life doesn't take you down the path that you set out, but it can sometimes be so much more exciting than you ever dreamed.
Yes.
Well, and so obviously you chose Memphis, born and raised Memphis. Are any other communities doing anything like this? We've got just a few minutes, like a minute or two, before we're going to take a break. And so if you can just give us a teaser, and then we'll go into the real details.
Yeah. Well, Memphis is unique. There's no other city like us. We're entrepreneurship city, and I could go into the history of the Piggly Wiggly and the Holiday Inns and all of that and who we are. But when we talk about what we're doing and what other cities are doing, yes, there are similarities, but what Memphis needs is what we are providing that is unique for us, utilizing our assets, our talents, our culture to make Memphis the greatest city that we can. And so that's really what we stay focused on. But national organizations, international organizations, we recently won an award from a national organization for our work. They are doing similar things, and I am involved with my counterparts in other cities to brainstorm and pull good ideas.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm not going to stop here. We're going to definitely keep talking about this.
Okay.
We're going to pause for another short break, so please stick around as we continue our discussion with Dr. Joann Massey, CEO of the Economic Development Growth Engine for Memphis and Shelby County.
Cut to one and cue talent.
The GHS Fine Arts Department is composed of 6 different disciplines, including instrumental music, which is both band and the strings or orchestra.
My belief is that band is the life of the school. If the band's not fun, the school's not fun.
There's choral music with a variety of different levels for our students, from women's choir, an a cappella group.
So choir is an excellent opportunity for you to engage in the music making process and to create relationships and bonds with your fellow classmates.
We have our theater program, which includes acting and tech theater.
It'll teach you how to be a better communicator, it'll teach you how to work with people better, and it'll teach you how to get outside your comfort zone.
We have GHS-TV and the intro classes that go into GHS-TV.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello and welcome to GHS Insider, the show that's all about the G.
So GHS-TV tries to model a real working station.
And we have a visual arts program that goes up into AP courses and also includes IB level.
I think the arts are really important because they provide students with that safe space where they can express themselves, they can be who they really want to be.
The specificity of what is taught and required to be learned here in this department is so particular that they're going away with abilities and skills that other schools aren't teaching.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Thank you for being with us on Let's Talk Business. I'm your host, Kelly Bolton, and today we've been talking with Dr. Joann Massey, CEO of the Economic Development Growth Engine for Memphis and Shelby County. We'd like to finish up our conversation on this tremendous impact that EDGE is making to help Memphis and Shelby County thrive with growth. So I got so many more things I want to talk to you about, but we were just talking about, some exciting things that have happened with the organization. Maybe we should talk about what is the most exciting thing that you see that's coming, or can you tell us any of the secrets?
Yeah. Well, I think there is tremendous opportunity as we, shared in the small business area. Again, we have a marketing initiative called Entrepreneurship City, where it's really helping to hone in on the stories of our small businesses, our innovators, and, the trendsetters of our community. But what I also see coming, Kelly, is a real tremendous opportunity in the data center and AI industry. So again, right here at GHS, our students are our future when it comes to AI. They have opportunities that you and I, at their age, never even would have dreamed of.
Right.
I mean, maybe watching the Jetsons.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Inside joke, but maybe watching the Jetsons.
They don't even know what we're talking about.
They don't even know what we're talking about, but now it's a reality. And what we at EDGE, again, as I share with you, I'm an education advocate too. I do that part of my work for free. But we want our kids, our community, to really hone into it and embrace it. It's not about the environmental aspects of it. And believe me, EDGE has very strict policies about environmental impact. So as an example with XAI, and I'd like for your listeners to know, we did not provide any incentives for them.
Really?
But we are in America. So when you talk about businesses opening and them following the laws, and other agencies like the Environmental Protection Agency or the Health Department, they have responsibilities for monitoring them, but they did not take any incentives from our community, and they have continuously, as we all know and hear, given back.
Well, and that's fantastic. And when they give back, it's more than just the things that we think about. I mean, it's jobs, and then those jobs, people need housing, and if they need housing, they need people to build, and they need furniture that's local stores, and they eat out. So it's amazing how one thing has such a major impact. And we talked about COVID, how COVID had a long-term impact, because it wasn't just worried about getting sick, it was then all the things that happened as a result. So, you shared with me during the break that you are very well educated. You have your law degree, then you got your master's, and then you got your PhD.
Right, PhD, and then I finally made it to Harvard. That was a goal for my mom, and so I have certification in economic development from Harvard.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Well, it goes to show you that if education put to good use can really make a difference, and then you see what your education has done that then ultimately has an impact on our community. And we're fortunate that you chose to stay in Memphis and keep Memphis as your home. So if somebody had an idea, I want to make widgets, where do I start? Because there's so many resources in Memphis, the Small Business Development Council. So where do you go to get started, and how do you get funding? Because sometimes the ideas, you just don't even know where to turn.
Sure. Well, we tell people to start at our website. We think our website is user-friendly, and it's just www.edgemem for Memphis.com, edgemem.com. We tell people to start there. Again, every, round peg doesn't fit into the square hole, right? And so it may not be a fit for EDGE, but we also have a team that will help to direct and guide people, refer people to other agencies.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so that's what Entrepreneurship City is about. It's a collective of organizations like EDGE, Epicenter, StartCo, all of our suburban chambers. We work right here closely with the Germantown Suburban Chamber, and Germantown has a fantastic mayor that is continuously invested in helping to, grow our community. So we work with all of those folks under that umbrella for Entrepreneurship City, and we will find the assets or the direction that a person needs to go in order to support their business.
So, so you can have an idea and call you, and you can direct.
Yes.
Because I think sometimes that gets overwhelming for people, not even knowing where to start. Who's the first phone call, and then you get to the point of analysis paralysis.
That's right.
And you get, everybody gives you their input, and they may not have great ideas. So, so what would you say? Can you tell me about a business that came to you that actually has actually grown and stayed in Memphis, and kind of the life cycle of that?
Wow, I mean, so many, but and I'm gonna call them out, knowing that I have multiple favorites, but these guys are amazing. So there were 3 chefs, and I'm not gonna get their names right, but it's Hard Times Deli is the restaurant.
Right.
They were 3 chefs, 3 guys that just had done some work, and they decided they wanted to open up a deli. Well, they came to Edge. We were able to provide an incentive, an actual forgivable loan. So the key word is forgivable, meaning that it's really a grant if you do the things you say you're going to do. We provided that to them. They opened up their restaurant. Those guys have taken off, so much so that within a year they were expanding. And they added a bar component, and now they're just all over the place. So if you haven't looked up Hard Times Deli on Instagram, to your listeners, go look them up. Their sandwiches are divine. And that's just one of the many, entrepreneurs and, again, companies that I'm so proud of that we've been able to support here in Memphis and Entrepreneurship City.
Well, I can tell why you have done such an amazing job with your work, because you can tell that that passion comes from your heart.
Thank you.
I cannot thank you enough for doing the show, and I hope that we can continue this conversation, because I've got a lot more questions for you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kelly.
Once again, we'd like to thank Dr. Joann Massey. She's CEO of the Economic Development Growth Engine for Memphis and Shelby County. And we want to thank her for being with us today, and thank you for tuning in. You can check out their website at edgemem.com. To get more information about our show, please check us out on the web at GHS-TV.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. I hope you've enjoyed our discussion, and I hope you will join us again next month on Let's Talk Business.